Projecting influence and power. It's another landmark visit by the French President Emmanuel Macron, who was here less than a month ago. He has taken the lead in responding to Lebanon's economic and political crisis, made worse by the explosion at Beirut's port. Macron came back with the same message. Officials need to tackle corruption and reform state structures to get international financial assistance. This time, however, he talked about a timetable and consequences. Macron said Lebanon's leaders promised a government of experts in 2 weeks, and that he expected the government to start delivering on a roadmap of reforms within 6 to 8 weeks.
Mais je l'ai dit très clairement.
I think sanctions can come at the right moment if it is necessary and in a targeted manner. A sanctions policy done when actions have been proven, but not necessarily just in the political framework. The sanctions mechanisms can also be activated when we see illegal activities, which can be military or terrorism related or financial.
The French president, who has repeatedly denied that he's interfering in the country's internal affairs, chose to return on a symbolic day. 100 years ago, the state of Greater Lebanon was proclaimed by the French Mandate authorities. He also chose when to meet officials after a packed schedule in what was seen a political message.
Actions of President Macron are clearly very neo-colonial in nature. There's a clear power dynamic there, and there's a clear sense of putting pressure on this Lebanese political class.
France's influence in Lebanon, which has long been used as an international playground, waned over the years. There are two main players now, rivals United States and Iran.
Macron, I think, feared a power vacuum. The message was, I can play this role between the US and Iran. I can play this role also in pushing forward the political class toward reform.
People return to the streets. They don't believe the mainly sectarian leaders will agree to change that would weaken their power, and they blame France for backing the new prime minister, who they say is a product of the system.
We've tested this recipe over the past 30 years. We're a bit shocked that President Macron is trying to apply the same recipe now again.
Protesters demanded an end to corruption and a new leadership for months. They had hope when Macron first visited Lebanon soon after the Beirut port explosion on August the 4th, thinking the international community would help them topple a political class in power for decades.
They aren't giving up. As Lebanon marks 100 years since its birth, people here say a nation independent of a corrupt political class and outside intervention has yet to be born. Zeina, Khodr, Jazeera, Beirut.